Good evening, everyone. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and MJ from the Rewind Report, and we are coming to you live here on Tuesday night. Now, tonight, gang, was supposed to be Mitch Taylor with us, and I know we apologize. Mitch has flown out to I believe he's out. I think he's out in Nevada. He's going to be speaking out there tomorrow, and he is under the weather to the point of where he would not make good YouTube video.
Well, technically, it would be funny to some people.
Yeah, might make really good YouTube video.
Depending
Oh,
on
yeah, just
what your level of nausea fits in,
yeah. Oh, Vicky just messaged. She thinks it's food poisoning. Ooh.
Ugh.
Oh, that's a visual we probably didn't. we really don't
Yeah,
need.
that's even worse than a cold, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So I am bated breath. So, gang, what we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to be rescheduling Mitch for Sunday night. Now, again, we apologize. He's not feeling well, and I'd prefer to have Mitch at even 50% than to have him where he's at right now. So Mitch, we wish you the best, and hopefully you get over this that especially if it's a food poisoning. And we will see Mitch. We're going to plan for Sunday night. We're going to just double check the schedules, and we'll send out an email to everybody on his on where he's going to be at. But we're thinking Sunday night, probably around that 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern time. So MJ, I'm thinking you and I've been getting a lot of press releases this past week.
Oh my goodness, you have no idea what today's been like. Well, you do know because I've been hitting you up with messages,
Yeah.
asking questions, and stuff. For those of you who don't know, and right now I'm trying to take notes for the show as we're talking. For those of you who don't know, us with the press, we will get a press release about the information, with all the information of the new product, a week to 2 weeks before it comes out, so that we're able to write articles and do videos, and then at a certain point, they allow us to post those. They embargo it until a date, so we can put the stuff together, and then once that date, and it's usually a date and a time. So it's like 10 a.m. on Monday, the blah blah blah,
Yep.
before you release it. So we do that kind of stuff, and we got several of them. Very interesting products, and as John and I are talking this afternoon about something totally different on the phone, I'm like, hold on, somebody just sent me an email with some of this stuff leaked. So I went and started doing research, and had to put together a little video so that we were at least somewhat up with the rest of the news in the DJ community. But yeah, it was interesting.
And of course, what's coming up next week, we've got NAMM, which is the National Association of Music Merchants, the big NAMM events going on in Anaheim. That means that pretty much anyone with anything musically related, lighting, instruments, anything, this is their time of the year to put out their, the dog and pony, the horse and pony show. So these releases are coming out, and there's some really cool stuff coming out. And one of the biggest ones that MJ and I were talking, I think yesterday or was it today, we were chit chatting a little bit about it, and the good and the bad. And then today it leaks out just like that. So the piece we're talking about is actually from Den and DJ. What was it? You've got
The
MCX 8000.
Yeah, yeah. MCX 8000, because most of those are like the MC 4000, but they put an X in there. Quick story about this. If you saw my video, I said that it was leaked by gearsluts.com, which they do a lot of great information on there, but it wasn't actually leaked by them. It was leaked on their forum. So I just want to make sure that, they don't, I must have said something and activated my Google phone because it's recording me right now. Sorry. Now the government is listening. No, but so they weren't the ones that actually leaked. It was leaked on their forum, and immediately, as soon as it hit there, I started doing a little research. Caught it on Serato's forum. I'm talking like within the same 30 seconds, and then again on Reddit. So whoever dropped it, whether it was the company that released it on purpose or not, it got out quick, and I decided to put it out there too. But it's interesting. I don't know if we're allowed to show pictures. Well, the pictures are out there. Go freaking look at it.
Put the picture, put it up, screen share and put it up, and then let's talk about it. Because you know what? It's out there. So
right. Grab a screen share here. There's a lot of interesting things because I sat down and read the PDF and looked over it because you know me, I'm about like every single button. What does the button do? Why is this? And all that kind of stuff. This is it right here. It is a 4-channel controller and I'll tell you some of the highlight points about it real quick here. It has 2 screens on it, so I kind of, when I first saw it, I kind of described it as a Newmark NV on steroids, because it kind of has the same feel, but it also has the exact same layout, practically the exact same layout as the DDJ SX, but just from Pioneer, but just add 2 screens. So they do have platters that are lit up this time, so you get to see a little light going around. I thought that was good. Second thing that for me is good is it has 8 cue points, but the 8 cue points are also I can't think of the word, mode, like they're different modes. So you hit a button and it goes to another. So you have 8 buttons that are a second mode, and I believe there are 4 modes. I'm not sure the word. It's ticking me off that I can't think of what the word they're doing is, but it has 4 of them on those alone. Okay, so you have that I think is good. It has a little slider strip at the top, so you can zoom through the song, which none of their other ones did that. I believe most of the Pioneers have that. Newmarks have that, and that's for like jumping ahead in the song. So if you want to check something, you just slide your finger across it and it goes there. It has a decent effects section with some dedicated buttons that weren't there before, which one of the ones I use, I call it the dump. Some people call it the brake, because back in the days it would be like hitting the power on a turntable and it would slow down. That's one that I have to actually program into my stuff, because I do a lot of personalized MIDI mapping. They have it on this as a dedicated button and knob. So literally you have a spot there to adjust in real time, whether you want it to just slow down real quick and go whoop, or slow down slow and kind of thing. And I like that that's built in there. The 2 screens are full color LED screens that are changeable, which you can see the waveform, you can see all the different information about your songs, your song list, scroll through song list, search for BPM, search for song name, scroll through, load it on either one of the 2 screens. Now, here's where it kind of goes really unique, and excuse me if I'm talking too fast, because
No, you're doing great.
There's really a lot on this. On the top, there are 2 USB docks to where you can dock a thumb drive with your equipment, with your songs.
MJ, I think just while you're talking about this, I think you can go, and you should be able to. If you go up there at the top of the screen, I think you can go and actually get like a pointer to point on different things.
Let me bring the other screen up, because I don't know. This is all.
I was playing that with it a little bit earlier today. I think it's towards the top of the screen when you're sharing. That you can pull up a pointer, and then you can pull up some other tools like to highlight it and such.
How's that a zoom? Is that better?
Yeah, there we go. Yep.
All right, yeah. So you can see some of the things. The a little bit lower to the right here, you see the stop time, the slip in the stop time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what that is. That's for that slowdown that's built in there, and you can see the samplers at the bottom for the different modes. And I freaking ticking me off. I can't think of what that's called. But you're doing multiples the same way. It has that for the effects that are up here at the top below the screens. There are different modes on that too, and you can do live adjustments on it, so you can bring up a echo and you can change how long the echo goes out and all that stuff in real time. It also allows you really quickly with the buttons on the left of the screen to zoom in and out of the waveform if you want to. Some people like closer waveforms, some like further away. I know people that like with virtual, that it has 3 different waveforms, let you see the full song, part of the song, and then really close for scratching. That drives some people batty, but other people, they like it.
Right.
But if you look off to the left here, there's 2 USB spots, and what those are for is a lot like the Pioneer, which that is kind of what they're doing, is that I think they're trying to mirror some of the Pioneer success. So it is set up to where you can put a thumb drive in there and you don't need a computer. And just like Pioneer has the record box, Denon has always had their own sort of music manager software. They call them engines. And basically what it does in short form, not detailed, is that it takes every song you have on that thumb drive and creates sort of a text file with all the information about that song, where exactly it is. If you put cue points in, it remembers the cue points, and it puts it in a really fast reading text file so that the hardware in the computer can read it quickly and dump songs on and off. But it allows you through the hardware on your computer. So you loaded songs on your thumb drive, run it through their scanner and put it on there, and you don't have to use a computer if you don't want to. It gives you that option. Denon has always kind of had that. Most people don't know that, but back on the old Denon DNS 1200s. I use them with thumb drives with a crossover cable and put a keyboard on there, and I could search for songs, BPM, everything, but I can only see like 3 songs at a time because their screens were ultra small. So they've kind of taken that and really built it up to be really, really nice. So you can, if you want, go out and do a thing with no computer if you want. It's
Uh-huh.
that simple. And they're ejectable, as you see. I don't know if you can see the eject buttons on the right and left there. So that's, you can pull them out and don't worry about anything crashing or anything like that. We see our 4 channels there with effects 1 and 2, which that's going to give you this side you can set up as FX1, so you can have effects set in there, 3 of them with all the parameters that you want set perfectly, and effects 2 over here with 3 more set exactly the way you want them to be. And then you go to your channel, and let's say you're DJing with the right and left, the furthest right and furthest left channels. You can pick which side you want the effect to be. So if you have a backspin effect on the left side, you can pick 1 and do it. And if you have an echo effect on the right side, you pick 2 and it's on the right side. And if I'm correct, you can highlight them both and do an echoed backspin out. And layering of effects is something that I do within the MIDI mapping, and they're letting you do it kind of live here, which is good. It's really good. We're going to scroll back down here. You can see it's 4 channels. Another thing that I thought was really cool was right down there at the bottom, the fader is replaceable. And for people who break faders and use them a lot, couple screws, it's out. And I believe that is also, you can use that, what's it called? Nano, it's a really high-end fader, nano fader or something. I'm just blanking the name of it. Sorry that I can't remember the name of it. It's a really high-end changeable fader that you can put in. It is magnetized and balanced so that it's really, really, really good. They have loop effects down at the bottom, built in plus minus, which that's kind of a standard that's always been there. You can see it to the right of the buttons. Buttons are color programmable, so you can have it set to where a cue point is a red, and stuff like that. Like also, you see above them, the roll, the slicer, and the sample are also effects that I have always MIDI mapped that are now dedicated buttons. So a roll button is an effect, for those of you who know it. On some controllers, it's built in and does it automatically. Other ones like mine, when I use the Denon, I had to program a button to do that with an effect. So it's a little different. They're dedicated on here. If you've owned any Pioneers, they're built in. That's the thing with some of the Pioneers. A friend of mine has one of the DDJs, and even the air horn, that air horn, it's built into the Pioneer. So there's stuff like that that's getting built in, which I think it's kind of neat.
Innofader. Somebody put Innofader up.
Innofader, that is exactly it. Thank you. I'm so sorry I couldn't remember that, but I'm almost positive it does take an Innofader. And if you can see also to the right of the fader on the bottom, that is a curve control for those of us who like to scratch. The 4000 was missing that, and it drove me batty because I like the 4000, but I used the curve control on the fader. For those of you who know, go ahead and look it up because I'm not going to get into crazy kind of detail. It just basically sets how far away from the side do you get the volume to come on. So if you have it set all the way full, then instantly, as soon as it leaves the right side, the left side is on. But if you put it halfway, you have to move it halfway across. That's a curve adjust. It's on there. I love it. Very good. Let's see if there's anything else on the front, because the back is just as exciting as the front. And I'm not kidding you, it is, because that was the things that was some of this here. I'm looking real quick here on this. Parameters 1 and 2, that's how that's set with the cue buttons. Parameter 1, parameter 2 are 2 sets. So you can have 8 cue buttons, then parameters that are 8 something else, which is good because I like to set cue buttons. Again, this is not for everybody. I do cue buttons, and I also use cue points to start and stop songs in certain areas. Cue points for loops and hitting the hook of the song, and also I'll put cue points in on some things to know where to mix out. So that if they have a really redundant, like Lady Gaga's Poker Face has a redundant 10 measure thing at the end that just keeps repeating. So if you know you have something, you can't tell where you're at unless you've counted it from the beginning, because it just keeps repeating it. And so if you put a cue point in there and go, get out of this song now, you can see it. And this gives you that opportunity to have those extra cue points, not necessarily to jump to a cue point, but to know things. So I mark songs up right and left, and this gives me more cue points, and I'm happy. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. That would be interesting to dig into that in the future. a future show is where we're looking at.
Yeah, so there's lots of little things like that. The microphones are there. There are 2 microphones. Yay! I always like something that has 2 microphones, even though I almost never use 2 microphones. A lot of people really like it. It has that silly little echo button that's now a little bit more hidden than before because it was this giant big echo button and twist knob, and not a lot of people use the echo on the mic, but it's still there and smaller. I
Mm-hmm.
like that, you know? And it gives you a mic on off button. I don't know how the post works, and I'm pretty sure post works the same as the other ones, to where by turning on the post, basically the sound will not come out of the booth feed, so it will only come out of the mains. So for like I said, it's going to go 2 different ways. I know guys in the weddings that will hook their subs up to the booth feed, so that during dinner at the wedding they can turn the sub down right from the controller and don't have to worry about going over to the bass and turning it down. As the party comes up, they can turn more volume to the sub
Mm-hmm.
and it comes out. And so obviously you wouldn't want your voice going through the sub, in the same way that if it's in a DJ booth with the monitor, you can talk on the mic and not have your monitor that you're queuing stuff up blasting your own voice back at you and doing feedback into the mic. So, which we're getting feedback now from something.
We are. Yeah, it might be. I think the furnace kicked in here in the office.
Okay, that's what it is. That's fine. It's cold up there right now, because I know
It
it
is.
is, because it's cold here and we're much further south than you are. It does have up in the, again, I'm rambling through these things because I look through it and I'm very picky about stuff. It has a load to the prep, and that's one of the things that I like, that where, let's say you're scrolling through songs at a 100 BPM to 105 BPM and you see something you might want to play later, you hit the load prep, it drops it into a lower list that's just kind of a waiting list so that you don't forget about it. And there's dedicated buttons for that.
Uh-huh.
So, stuff like that I like. It will let you automatically jump to crates or playlists, depending on how you want to call that. And that means that if you've put together a whole bunch of songs that have horns in them and you like doing a set with these horns, like 3 songs with horns, or maybe 3 songs that talk about shoes, you can put playlists together like that. Click one button, it takes you to your crates, scroll through your crates, find the songs you're looking for, and immediately start. So it gets you there much quicker. So lots of cool stuff there. I don't think there's anything I missed. Do you see anything on there that I haven't talked about? Or anybody in the chat room, feel free to yell at me if I haven't hit everything there, and if I've talked too fast. I don't know much about their engine software yet. I do own the Denon Music Manager software. Really basic. It's not a DJ software like a Serato or a Tractor or Virtual. It's a music managing software that allows the machine to be able to just dump the thumb drive in and DJ off of that. So I'm guessing that their engine drive is similar to that, but just like Pioneer, like I said, they're seeming to follow Pioneer. I would not be surprised if they come out with a software for DJing that works with them, just like Pioneer's record box. Wouldn't surprise me.
Uh-huh.
So that's that. They sent these really cool pictures. So these are the ones that I'm like, okay.
I could
So you kind of get a better see of the size, even though most guys are not paying attention to the size of the thing. It's bigger. It's much bigger than anything Denon has ever put out. So, that's kind of neat to see that. We are going to jump back into the back, because I think the back's exciting. Power button on this side over here has the power cord thing to lock into power cord. And what's that? A USB and a USB hub to PC? What is that?
Have we seen that before?
On mixers, not on a controller that I've ever noticed. I might have missed on a controller, but it's on mixers. Basically, in a way, and again, if I'm wrong, chat room, feel free to yell at me. I'm not ashamed to be wrong about things. 2 sound cards. So you can run a hub, hook a computer to it, or 2 computers, and switch out on the same piece of equipment without stopping the music. Follow me on how that works? So let's say you're DJing on the piece of equipment with your computer, and I follow you. So I can come up and hook my computer into it while you're DJing. You can then unplug your computer, and I can DJ from mine, and we've not skipped a beat.
Ah.
Clubs, that's really important because you're switching DJs all night. Some clubs have 3 different DJs all night using the exact same equipment and the exact same mixer. So they'll tie into like a rain mixer or something like that. And that's become a very big thing. Like the new Pioneer one has that, so that you can switch out. USB to hub to PC is kind of like hooking it all together. I don't know the details of how it works, because I'll show you here in a minute the press release sheet that they gave us, it was very limited. So all of this stuff I'm going on just from my knowledge and picking this thing apart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll find out more when they release. And right next to that, look at the booth and the main, both XLRs. Everything Denon has put out so far, the booth is quarter-inch outs. As you can see, the booth is still not a balanced XLR, which I don't understand that, but whatever. I don't know what more you need to do to an XLR to make it balanced, that it took up that much room that they don't use it for both, but it gives you both now XLRs. And why I think that's a good thing is that it's one less cable you have to carry with you. So instead of
Yep.
carrying an XLR to XLR to hook into your thing, and before you had to have an XLR to quarter to hook it up, for your monitor or whatever, now you just have the same cord. So if one goes bad, you're going to have a bunch of XLR cords, but you may not have a bunch of XLR to quarters. So I think that's good. Moving over, RCA balanced outs, which for doing clubs and stuff and different things, it's always good to have the RCA outs just in case. Because when I'm out on my own, I use the XLRs. Most of the clubs, I have to use the RCAs and little stereo mono switch there. For those of you who don't know, most clubs and bars are set up in mono because they want everyone in the place to hear the exact same
Yep.
thing. So even when I'm running my own speakers, I'm always run mono. So no matter how many speakers I'm running in the room, no matter where their placement is, everybody in the room is hearing the same thing. Now, other people say, "Oh, it's not as good as stereo," but again, I'm not looking at it as in an audio file saying, "Oh, this sounds better." Not. I'm saying that I want to get everybody in the room dancing exactly the same. So the switch to let you do the stereo mono is great. Moving on over line ins, because it has 4 lines, it lets you put in other things, anything else, CD player. Like on mine, on the 6000 that I run, I keep an RCA to 1/8 inch in there, so that if anything ever craps out, I can plug in my phone. I have mixes on my phone. I can play from the phone until I get my computer back up and running again. Safe thing. Also, you see next to that are DVS lines. So those are instantly dedicatable to a vinyl, like a turntable, like a Techniques or whatever, with Serato vinyl. No box needed. So you don't need a Serato box. You can go straight into them. So you're going to go your RCAs out of your thing straight into them, and it's going to tell and read the vinyl code from the Seratos or the Tractor, whatever you end up using,
Hmm.
just instantly. So that's cool too. So that's, even though Denon put out their own box earlier this year, that DS1 that is its own Serato box. If you choose this, you don't have to have that, which is cool, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Next to that is the 2 mics. You get the quarter and the XLR. And then the link off to the side. Now this is where it gets kind of crazy. Um, the so it Pioneer uses it for a couple of different things. One of them it uses for is their, I think it's called Curve, and it is a box you can hook up to your controller. It's tied into your computer, running the record box software, and people out there in the world can see every song you play in your playlist. And they can affect through the programs and saying, I like it, I don't like it. And clubs can do that to where that they have this service hooked up to the Curve box, and it can basically communicate to the world what's going on at this club. So it's kind of neat. And a lot of DJs hate that because then it gives away their secret songs, which all of us, I just want today because right before you called me to get on, I was working on, because David Bowie passed away, and I think you guys talked about that last
Yep.
night. And there was back in the early 2000s, I spun a house remix of that like almost every single night I was out, and I could not find it online today. I looked everywhere for it, and ended up calling a friend of mine who also I knew spun it. He didn't have it. I ended up digging through a box of CDs up in a closet upstairs and found it on a CD to transfer it over. So having something like that is very unique, since, like I said, it's not out there. I
Mm-hmm.
looked everywhere for that remix today because I didn't want to be lazy and have to rip a CD and do all this. So now if I play that and use that software and box that communicates, now everyone's going to see what version I'm playing.
Hmm.
A lot of DJs don't like that. They kind of like to hide that. It's not a big deal. I mean, that's kind of it. But that's the back, which, like I said, I kind of like a lot of the little changes here. We're going to jump over to the PDF, which tells the information. And as you can see at the very, very top, um, that we were not right there. We were not supposed to say anything until January 18th. So that's Monday. So somebody has let that out.
It came out a little
Yeah,
little too early.
little early. But if you look on down, it tells you a little bit about what's going there. It has the Denon DJ engine standalone technology, which that, like I said, I talked about, doesn't need a computer. Two USB inputs for engine playback and standalone mode. Again, they're going to get into more detail in that in the future, how that exactly works. If you need any extra software, hardware, or software or hardware, you're going to do that. It's 4DX, two high definition displays for their engine thing again. And again, on this, don't quote me on this because when the NV come out, the screens only worked for Serato, no other software. So I don't know if this one, because it is going to be Serato compatible, if these screens also will only work with Serato. I know it took probably 3 or 4 months to someone programmed virtual to do it, and also someone did the same thing for Tractor to where it made it work with the screens. But this could be one of those ones that unless you use Serato or a specific type of Serato, maybe Serato DJ, Serato Scratch, whatever, you may not get used to the screens
Yeah.
unless you're running it in that mode off the thumb drive. So there's no information on that yet. Velocity sensitive performance pads and cues. So those 8 great cue pads that I love are velocity sensitive. So I can have a beat on one of them, hit it really lightly, and the beat's quiet. The harder I hit it, the louder the beat goes. So they're velocity sensitive on, for samples or whatever. It doesn't have to be a beat, but it could be a sample. And you could start it out quiet, and then the harder you hit it, it gets louder and louder to build an effect. The Ethernet cable is, in this I've seen, but they're saying that it's connection for controlled lighting and video. So I know the one casino I DJ at, because in that sense of the world, DJs, we deal with HDMI. So if we're going to DJ a video, we come out HDMI, right? Well, a lot of the places like that, the one club I had, they put a box in the DJ booth that is Ethernet. And they're like, well, that's how we do video. So with this and the right software and doing it right, like I said, I don't know what all it comes with. I could have plugged into that box instead of having a big giant switchover box that I had to have to play the videos on the big screen at the casino. So technically now I could walk in, and I don't know if it's a regular Ethernet cable or a crossover cable, because sometimes they're crossover cables, which is just a type of Ethernet cable, but instead of being the wires go through it straight, they cross halfway. So what starts out on the right on one end is on the left on the other. That's crossover cable. So that's kind of what that's for. I have no idea how it's going to control the lighting, but I do know that in the past, I have seen software and stuff that works in conjunction with your DJ software. So you can have a set up song. So let's say you're playing Don't Stop Believing by Journey.
Mm-hmm.
And point in the song where, it comes to a crescendo. And if you use the same lights all the time in your setup, you could cue point lights in there and program it. So at the exact same point, when you load that song, it's going to make the lights do the exact same thing every single time. And that's kind of what this is tying into, but I don't know all the details of it yet. Like I said, because what you're seeing right here, me holding up, is all they've given us. So it really is nothing else. Serato DBS upgradable ready. What that means in detail, I don't know. I mean, it's upgradable. What are they considering upgradable? That's my question on that. Metal construction, we don't have a weight on it, but Denon's always been really good on having metal construction, and metal construction sometimes weighs a lot. That's why the NS7 is ridiculous.
That's one way to say it.
It's ridiculous. A friend of mine and I were talking today online about all this stuff, and him and I both love the NS7, but it's stupid because he's getting older now and has a son now. I believe it's a son, and he's talking about every time he goes in DJs, it's killing my back, because he has it in a case too. So that's a lot of weight to be thrown around. But all of that is kind of like, what it is. You're going to get the information on it, and the final slide I'm going to show you is the price. Are you ready?
No, you had one.
Right there at the top. $12.99. It's out of my price range. Other people, and that is in comparison. Like I said, it's right in there with some of the big DDJ SBs and stuff. than Pioneer. Like I said, I really think they're going after the Pioneer people because Pioneer has a brand loyalty, number one, that's incredible, and number two, they have um, a lot of really great products. In fact, they came out with two new ones last night at midnight. I literally am watching the videos at 3 in the morning and posting about them, and we're going to talk about them in a minute. So, but Pioneer, every time there seems to be an expo, they seem to bring out more and more and more um, things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm trying to get back to stop screen sharing here. I really don't know how to do this.
I can stop you, I think.
Because I lost the big. Oh, there it is. No, it
Oh, you
moved.
got it. There you go.
Yeah,
You got it. There you go.
it moved on me. That's fine.
Yeah, I
But
thought
back
they had
to
added
that.
some
I
things.
apologize that if I rambled a lot because, like I said, I really I don't know. I'm a freaking nerd about this stuff.
A couple of things. I'm not sure if I think what I've been picking up is I think that the light controller side there might be something coming out with Mark Lighting, which is MARQ Lighting, which is part of the In Music company, which is the owners of Denon, and I think that
And
there might be.
Newmark and
And
Akai
I
Audio.
think that's where that you see that. I wouldn't be surprised at NAMM if that's going to be something we hear. And this is me speculating now, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what that is. So as it stands, it's not a lighting controller, but I think there will be functionality to help with that down the road.
Speaking of Mark Lighting, I know we're not allowed to talk about it, but they're coming out with 14 lights. 14 lights and DJ things. We can't talk about them because that one is embargoed until the 21st, the first day of NAMM.
Now, and we've talked about some Mark Lighting from DJ Expo. We had to spend some time with that. Now, looking at that list, were those some of those lights that we saw at DJ Expo, or was this like the next generation?
I
thought I recognized some, but it might have been that they had prototypes at Expo.
That's probably what it was because they weren't. The funny thing, those of you who maybe weren't at the expo or know about it, like I said, John and I, we always get this information way ahead of time because of the press. And I literally walked in the showroom floor before anybody else was in there, because this press, we get in the morning, and I'm like, who is this lighting company? I heard nothing about it, and they kept themselves that secret. So, like John said, if this stuff's compatible, they're keeping it secret, and it's kind of good in a way. It's kind of that whole Apple, mystery thing. Which you also posted a rumor today about the Apple 7, and I the person who said it, I would believe them until today. When he talked about it today, I'm like, I thought this was an honest man. I know he's lying.
Yeah, he does that once in a while. I think Jonathan likes to get a little.
Yeah, he basically said in this video that he was complaining that he didn't have a good phone, and someone from Apple sent him the new iPhone 7 to test, and he said all I can really say about it is that it folds in half. When he said that, I'm like,
that's yeah. Was he wearing a chicken suit or a pirate's hat? Or
not at that time, he wears. Those of you who don't know, his YouTube channel is what's called
DJ Tudor's suit. Yeah, it's Ellaskins, Ellaskins. That's his.
He's a crazy knucklehead from the UK, and does great videos, how-tos, and he has a lot of fun with it because he'll put on a chicken head costume or anything to just have fun with what he's doing. And he's not the first person that does that. If you watch DJ Cubert's videos, his whole crew does stuff like that all the time. They have a little puppet called Scratchy Seal that will do videos. So they have this little puppet that Scratchy Seal is saying, okay, hi, it's Scratchy Seal. Today we're going to show how we do this new thing. And they do the whole video like that. So I wish I had that braveness to just be that way. But maybe I am and don't even know it already. Maybe what I'm saying right now is the knucklehead without the cost.
Yeah.
So anything else about Mark you want to do since like I said, we can't talk about it.
Yeah, we really can't talk. There's for those of you who John's totally confused. No, John's not. The big thing about Mark that they were talking about is that Mark Lighting is going to be coming into the industry and being kind of the upper middle is where they wanted to kind of position themselves with quality, and pricing would be kind of in the midline when it comes to their lighting. They wanted to just really create something that is going to last for a while. Many lights are very similar to some of the other lights we've seen from other companies. So I don't think there's I mean, I didn't see anything in their booth that was really like, oh my god, I've never seen that look before. A couple of things were there were some tweaks, I guess, like LEDs on foggers. That was kind of cool. It'll be interesting to see because they've got with the InMusic and all the creative teams that they have within that company, they should really be able to do some things and really I think make a splash in the lighting scene pretty quickly. So it'll be interesting to see what comes from that.
Right. Where do we want to go next? Going down my list, we were talking about Pioneer so much. Pioneer decided to come out with 2 new pieces of equipment. The CDJ 2000 NXS Mark II and the DJM 900 NXS Mark II. So they're 2 new controller, a new media player, and a new mixer.
Okay. You just confused me, man.
I started complaining about this years ago. The number and letter system that they are now putting out DJ equipment with is like a foreign name. It's got so many letters and numbers. It's like, you really expect me to call it Bob? This is our controller, Bob. No, this is our controller, Henrietta. I don't just stop doing this 20,000 letter number combo that I can't pronounce. Lord forbid someone out there has a speech impediment and goes to a store wanting to purchase some of this equipment. They're going to, what would you like to buy today, sir? No, seriously. Take pictures. Just hold up a picture from now on.
This is what I want. Do you have any pictures of the Pioneer stuff?
I'm going to have to grab it here. I do. I got to remember. Again, today with all these folders and stuff I was doing, it was a madhouse. But I watched a video last night, and it was they ticked me off because they are just going, oh, it's the greatest thing in the world. But basically all they did was add some stuff to these things to make them like a controller. And I don't mean to insult people who use them, but this is their new mixer. And it's got a lot of things on here that, as you can see, the twist knob for the filters and stuff. And that's kind of always been there. But they're giving you some effects that are built in, letting you do loops, which we've had that on controllers for 10 years. Effects that have been on controllers for 10 years. All this kind of stuff. I think the only difference, I think this is also a 2 USB mixer. I'm not sure because I have no information on this really.
Well, scroll back to the top again there, MJ. Yeah, we've got A and B.
Those are mics.
Oh, that's your mic.
Sorry, they're MIDI. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's meaning 2 sound cards, just like I talked to you about, to where that I can plug in and then you plug in and we can switch on and off at some point, and then it just goes without missing a beat. Because MIDI is a kind of thing that has to, kind of like Bluetooth, it has to connect to itself before it can really do anything.
Gotcha.
But that's what that's for. So now looking at that, I didn't look a lot over this, so forgive me. But that's what that is right off the bat. So it's neat. I mean, there's a lot to it. Like I said, this is the only picture I have, but they do have a video out there if you want to look at it. There's some really big name EDM DJs and stuff that were just talking and loving this thing, and producers that were, saying this has changed the business. And I don't think it's changed the business, but it's nice because all these things, it's changed the business for people who didn't have a digital mixer like this before, to where, just like a lot of people before that, to just go and grab a cue point would have to go up to the keyboard on the computer to grab a cue point, where the mixers now are allowing you to do that on the mixer. So if you are beat matching a song and you want to jump back to the beginning of the song, with me on the controller, I just hit cue point 1, it goes back to the beginning of the song. Someone else would have to, go up to the computer and hit a button to bring it back. No big deal, but it gives you options. It's that look on your face there tells me that someone said something in the chat room about it.
They're wondering if it has the bomb effect on it.
If you can tell me how that's set up, I will look right now. This right now, there are effects on here: delay, echo, ping pong, spiral, reverb, trans, filter, flanger, phaser, pitch, flip, roll, vinyl break, and helix.
See, now that capability right there, what we're looking at on the right-hand part of the screen, was on the, what is it, a CDX 3000 mixer, which went with the CDJ 3000, which was their CD player, and it was for mobile DJs. that capability, we were able to kind of change the pitch and such. So my kids called it the Darth Vader effect. Because we'd go and you turn it, and you could sound like, even at the time, my 4-year-old, he could sound like Darth Vader. And
Yeah,
it was
and that's with that one right there. You can see the effects, and down below it, you can choose whether you want it, what channel it to be on. So if you want that effect to be mic only, you can.
I miss that capability because I could add just a little bit more bass to the microphone, and you could really sound like that radio, that late night top 40 DJ.
John, you and I have to sit down because they have things called software now that do that. Trust me. This is what I tell
On
people.
the 6000, how would you do that on the MZ 6000? We use the same board.
It's half done. I half do it on hardware and half do it on software.
No, see,
A lot of people don't get into the MIDI mapping like I do. And I go in there and I literally buttons that weren't intended. I have 2 buttons that are in the center of the 6000 that were parameter buttons that were intended to do with effects and stuff like that. I dedicated them to video changeovers. So if there's a video playing that I'm doing a school and a video is coming on that it's kind of like risque, and I can't really play the video, I have a button there that'll kick right over to just visual effects that'll cover over the thing instantly. If it's a boring video, or maybe it picked up the album art only, there's a button that I have dedicated now to where it starts rotating and spinning the album art and switching things in and out to keep that exciting. And these are all things that I've taken buttons that were there before and just totally did whatever I wanted to with them. And that's why with the newer stuff, the 4000, I didn't mean to complain about it, but I couldn't do it because they just didn't have enough buttons for me to do it.
Sure.
You know? So this is the player. There are, like I said, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff out there on this. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. It is a step up from the other one. Does pretty much everything that the other one did, but a few more things it does better. It allows you to have a touch screen on there. You can type stuff in on it. And so like if you're searching for a song, again, this is all going towards like the Denon controller to make it possible that if you don't want a computer, you don't have to have a computer with this. So you can see the thumb drive up in the corner up there, and you can hit a button on the left or the right of the screen. I don't remember which it is on that. And then also all of a sudden a little keyboard pops up on the screen. It's a touch screen. You can type the songs and load it that way without even a keyboard. And they're pretty big too.
Yeah.
We getting questions?
I'm just scrolling here. Yeah, I think you're just walking through everything, and I think everyone's just kind of taking it in because there's a lot there.
This, if you, like I said, if you saw the NX, it's the same. I don't want to say it's the same thing, but it's going to have the same feel. It's going to have some extras. I don't have a price on this. The same way with the mixer, the prices are below. I know the Pioneer mixer is below the cost of a Rane mixer, so that's why some people are kind of leaning towards it. But then again, like I said, you have brand loyalty where some people will never leave a Rane mixer and some people will never leave a Pioneer mixer. And just to throw this in there, I've heard rumors that Rane's coming out with the new mixer at NAMM. Find anything out on it. I can't find anything. It's driving me batty. I mean, people have been talking about this for a while, that they're trying to come out with something that is going to shut down Pioneer's great mixer. But I think a lot of that when it comes to those two is just brand loyalty. You know, I in my opinion, don't think one is that much greater than the other, other than if you like the feel of it, you're going to like the feel of it and hate the feel of the other. It's kind of like a car. You know, I like my Scion and Toyota cars, but I can't stand driving a Ford. But someone else could go, how in the world could you drive that Toyota? It feels terrible. You know, it's just kind of an opinion thing, what you like. I had a friend of mine that picked up a truck, and he got a Chevy truck, and he hated it because he felt it drove like a car. So he said he wanted a truck that drove like a truck. So he ended up getting like this big diesel Dodge or whatever, which drove like a truck. And so it's like that. So if you have a piece of equipment that you like, switching to something else is really going to make you feel awkward.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what a lot of that is. That, in my opinion, I don't think one's better than the other. I just think they're a little different. And just same way with CDJs. A CDJ and an NS7, not an NS7, that's a bad example. A CDJ and something from Newmark and Denon basically work the same, but they feel different. So people aren't going to like it. And I know people that complain about two different types of CDJs, the CDJ this and the CDJ that. They don't feel the same as each other. I only want this. In fact, I heard a guy the other night that said, yeah, keep bringing out more CDJs, like the new CDJ that just come out, because that means other people are selling the old ones, and he likes just the specific old one.
He wants that.
More of them. And I think he has 4 or 5 of them, and he keeps buying them because that's what he likes. So that's the stuff from Pioneer. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry. What else? We can talk about the stuff from Chauvet, correct?
Yep. Chauvet stuff. I think that was. I don't think there was any embargo on that today that came out.
Take me a second to go to that screen. Whoops, that's not that one. Because Akai, I'm throwing this out there. I'm throwing it out. I threw a picture out today with the image scribbled out. Akai is coming out. Oh, how can I say this without leaking it? With a piece of musical playing equipment that's not meant for DJing, but meant for home, that I think people will find very interesting. I really do honestly believe that they'll find it interesting.
And if they've been following some of our shows where I've been talking about things, this would be a piece of this would fit into what I've been discussing.
Yeah. The whole thing about vinyl, people talk within the really close to me thinking that vinyl is going to make this big great comeback, and in 10 years everybody's going to be spinning with vinyl again. That's not going to happen, just simply because convenience. Like I said, it's just not going to happen. I'm not saying that people aren't doing it, and people are like, oh, but it's up 200% from last year. If I get 2 dates in 2016, my dating has gone up 200% from last year. So you can't look at a percent in that way. You have to look at a percent as in how many vinyls were sold to how many MP3s were downloaded.
Yeah.
It's just staggering the difference. But it's still a novelty thing. Just like any generation has always had something that's novelty that they look back on.
Yep.
8-track tapes will look back at novelty at some point. It's just that way. So a lot of these companies are coming out with stuff that is fitting that niche of I don't want to say novelty, throwback, classic.
Yeah.
Classics, I think, a good way to maybe look at that. So it's neat to see some of them coming out with it. It's kind of, I mean, for those of you who saw the release last week of Technique's new turntable, they're releasing a brand new 1200 turntable. It's heavier. It has extra build in it. There are, for those of you who know, if ever torn one apart, there's a little metal plate that separates certain parts. The old ones had 2 plates. The new one has 3 plates. The new Technique's 1200 also spins 33, 45, and 78 speeds, which the other ones didn't have 78. And somebody brought this up to me, and I'm not sure the whole science behind this, but he told me that you have to have a special type of needle to play a 78 record. Now, because of the speed and the way it reads, it's different. I always thought that the needle had to have a different shape because there are different shape, sharp shape, curve shape needles. Like the actual needle part is shaped differently. And I thought the 78s needed a different shape, but maybe that's what he meant. So I don't know in their science of throwing a 78 on there if you can play it on the new 1200s, but they're out and they are having a suggested price of $4,000.
See, now that's the weird part is that there was a screenshot from B&H on those, and it was in the 2000 range. So it was like 23 and 2500. So I'm at a loss for why we're hearing 2 different things.
It was if you go to the Pioneer page, it's on there.
Yeah, I saw that later after the B&H thing circulated.
So, I don't know what the MSRPs. Things are always lower than that.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's still going to be higher than what I think they're worth.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of a collector's thing. I don't want to say collectors because the people are going to be DJing with them. I don't want to cut that out of the picture, but I do not think that Pioneer looked at not Pioneer, but Techniques looked at it's Pioneer Techniques, whatever.
It's Panasonic actually. I think Panasonic owns Techniques.
Oh, yeah, it's like what is it? Gibson owns Stanton.
Yep.
So they're it's all crazy things like that. But I don't think that was 100% saying, "Oh, we're going to give out to all the DJs who spin DVS." I don't think that's what their intention was. They're not going, "Oh, it's one, and we're going to go back." So, with that said, shall we look at Chauvet?
Yes, and remember, we didn't say anything about turntables.
Correct. And like I said, I honestly believe, is my opinion, that the ones we've seen already, the ones that have been hinted about, aren't going to be the only ones. I think there's going to be ones out there. Who was it last week that put one out? That because we got to talk about it. Crap, who was it? It was at CES they put it out.
Oh, there were a couple. There were a couple of different companies that came out with.
Oh, who was it that's banging my
There was
head
a
now?
Bluetooth one I saw last week from CES.
That was crap. It's ticking me off. These things are not in my head right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically they put out one that will communicate Bluetoothly. If I can say that.
Bluetooth. Via Bluetooth.
Yeah. Um turntable. Sony put out a turntable that is USB that allows you to digitize, but it's also intended for like the audio files. It's not only going to let you USB your records in, copying over records onto digital if you have it and do it in a very high quality, but it's also for playing in high quality. So they are coming out with that. That is Sony. It's called the PSHX 500. Again, 20,000 letters and some numbers. And the other one was, have you figured out who the other one was?
I don't. We saw so many. I checked the CS folder because every time a new email comes in, I dump it into that folder. I think I had 300 and some press releases in that folder.
Yeah. If I say the name, you'll know it, but we'll look at some other stuff. While I'm looking, I'll dig at the other thing for it because I know I have it in files somewhere because I have 20,000 folders of this stuff. For those of you who kind of wonder what I do in my day, and I'm really trying to get better at this, but I sit here all day and just run through news stories and write things and do videos and I don't mind at all. I really, really kind of I like that. Also, what was released, Newmark. We didn't even talk about this.
Oh, can we?
Yeah, yeah, because I already did a news show on it. I'm DJ. Whoops, we don't want that. Yeah, because I already released that.
Oh, that one. Okay. There's a few more Newmark things that I don't think we can talk about yet.
This one,
Yeah.
Newmark released a controller that has its own built-in light show in the back.
The Party Mix.
The Party Mix. They have Newmark. Is it them that have the lights with the speakers with lights in it?
Yes. There's a version. There's a Newmark. That's the Lightwave, and then there was a Alto. Also came out with one, and I believe the Alto came out this fall, and the Newmark came out last spring.
So imagine the party you can put on.
Oh, I never thought combining the two.
The two of those. Here's the Bluetooth turntable. Let me go share screen.
We'll use this as our segue to get to lighting now.
Yeah, this is the Audio Technica Bluetooth turntable. So I said a lot of them are coming out this for home use. I don't have specs on this of high quality. Is if you know turntables in plastic, for passing off sound, it bleeds a lot. Plastic lets it bleeds a lot unless you have a really good bass. For those of us who, like I said, you really get into that, you have to be careful. So this is going to bleed. It does have a top, and that does help sound if you're recording something. But the fact that it's Bluetooth and going to Bluetooth speakers, how much of an audiophile really are you? Or Bluetooth? Yeah. So that was that. And we're doing Chauvet next, right?
Yes, yep. We need to get to Chauvet, and then we'll wrap things.
Okay.
Fisher Price. DJ.
It's so sketchy, and I hate this because there is a market, and I've said this before. There is a market for beginner DJs. You have to accept that.
Oh, for sure.
If you're a carpenter, you have to start out with some basic tools. You ask any professional mechanic, should a professional mechanic use Craftsman tools? They will laugh you out of the room. But most of us own some sort of Craftsman tool or something that comes from Arbor Freight or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like that. You can't be mad because somebody has to start somewhere. And the same thing that I actually heard, I think it was A-Trax was talking about the fact that he understands why people buy some of the stuff because he's a vinyl purist. He said because the price of some of the stuff, college kids are not going to be able to afford a $1,200 mixer.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so now we're going on to Chauvet or Chauvet, depending upon how you say it, right, John?
What part of the world you live in?
Yeah. So they are expanding their DeFi world. You know, they're coming out with more lights that take their DeFi. So that's a very, very good thing, right? But they're also releasing some other lights, and I'm trying not to shuttle through them here. This is the Beamer 6XFX.
Did you see anything now? Are those just adjustable heads on that, or do they do anything beyond like color change? I just haven't looked at the press release on it, so I wasn't sure.
Gosh, you had to do this to me.
I'm sorry, man.
They're the ones that I didn't get into detail. Let me
Okay,
see.
so this fixture changes color, and it has the strobe, and it has a laser in the middle. I'm guessing.
Yes, I don't believe they're not motorized, but I don't know if there is a prism inside that moves or anything like that. That's what I don't know.
Yeah.
So forgive me for not knowing this stuff. Go look it up. It is literally on Chauvet's page, so it's not hidden. It's out there. This is another one that's very similar to that one. And the whole combo light thing, like it's obviously you can see there, those are colored filters within that. And I probably should have zoomed in on the other, but they're color filters. So that light is never going to put off any other light than red and green and blue, etc. As far as I know, I don't think they're changeable with strobes in the center. Nothing moves, but again, inside that, I don't know if there is some sort of prism. Does not appear big enough to put a prism in.
Let's see if we can find out more information while you're talking about it.
It's in the press release. I don't have the press release up, and it's also on the page. That's where I got a lot of this information. I went straight to their page for the information because I thought, that's the best way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
While you're looking, I'm going to go on to another thing.
Yeah,
I did not advertise this, but it is a spot from them, a really high-end spot and goboer. And I can't pronounce the name. I'm trying. It's ELLIPSOL.
Ellipsoidal.
Ellipsoidal?
Ellipsoidal. Yeah.
That sounds like something you would go to the doctor and get a pill for.
You do. You get a
Doc, I've got ellipsoidal. Can you give me something for it?
Yeah, I got this on my leg. It's an ellipsoidal. Can you lance it?
But it's an adjustable, both gobo and spot. I think it's a little higher end from what I'm looking at here. I don't think it's your typical short throw. I think it's something you're going to be able to toss pretty big with it, in my opinion. It's what it appears to me. We're going on with that. This is the crazy thing called the Freedom Stick. And it is not something that you beat someone who's holding you captive with, but you could. It's an LED rod, different colors. Basically, it is an LED strip inside a little tube, which also were they the ones that come out with the tube? Chauvet with that big tube thing?
I think the tube that we saw, and you're probably thinking of, was from Mark Lighting at Expo.
No. They just come out with it a couple weeks ago. It looked like a round plastic tube you put over a.
Oh no, that was ADJ.
ADJ. Okay, yeah.
Where did you say you saw that on their website? I'm sorry.
It is on their website, John.
New products.
I got people messaging me right now. Please, if you are messaging me, I'm going to bring up a different light so we're not looking at the same boring light the whole time. You can look at that. It's under new products, so it's Chauvet Lighting. Then you have to go to news. I think it's news, catalog, Chauvet DJ. And I was just there today.
Yeah. I'm just not seeing it.
It was just there. I was just looking at it. I was.
Did they take it down?
Maybe. Maybe they said that we aren't good enough.
Maybe we aren't supposed to be talking about it.
I'm going to scroll down through a few stories that I have on the Rewind Report. For those of you who don't follow me, go to the Rewind Report and follow the show because I am posting this stuff as soon as it's up. So if you're interested in this stuff, it'll come up in your feed instantly. Like I said, I really push hard on this stuff to get you guys the information as quickly as I can. There's also rumors of Vestex coming back to life. I can't say much about that under a new name. That's a stupid name. I mean,
tell us how you really feel about it.
It's one of those unpronounceable names. They took Vestex and added stuff to it. Why are you looking for that? I'm going back to the lights. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not having any.
All right, this is the Intimidator Spot 155. Just another one of their spots. I don't know the whole bunch of detail. Those of you who are into these things and know them, you're going to know a little bit more. And if you're interested in them, it's there. As soon as John or I find the link to the Chauvet stuff on their site, we'll put it in the show notes below. And it might even be on the Rewind Report Facebook page. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've posted about this because I did a whole thing on it today and got all the information. So if I looked in my history on my thing, I can, but I don't want to do that right now.
MJ, what was that very first light you put up? What was the name of that one? Let's do a search for that and see if that one.
Beamer 6FX. Beamer 6FX. And then the other one is the Beamer 8. That's the Beamer 6 and the Beamer 8. And while you're doing that, it's the second Intimidator. It is the 355 IRC. So those of you who know about the IRCs and how they work, they're also doing this one. This one I'm pretty sure is pretty powerful, and I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's been taken off. I wonder if it went out by mistake today, a week early.
How
Whoops.
unfortunate
That we just
that we just did all this.
I can't, this is, and for those of you out there wondering, this isn't the first time this could happen. Not to Chauvet, but it has happened the last couple of years. There's something will happen, and all of a sudden a release will go out, and people start talking about it, and they're like, I thought I set it to go out Wednesday the 20th instead of Wednesday the 13th." That kind of a thing.
Yeah, I'm getting messages, so maybe someone is telling me don't do it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna bring up here. They're just giving me press photos. They're not giving me info on from the press release. I'm looking at the actual press release. Oh, they are here. So, what was your question?
Oh, you found them.
I'm looking at the press release and has all the information here. What was your question about which light?
The one that the Beamer 6. Now those were they color changing? Are they RGB?
Okay, so for anybody who from Chauvet is watching, if you don't want this out there, I'm terribly sorry because it was out earlier today and I just read things sometimes. Chauvet DJ's dynamic light of effects lighting gets you new edition as well with the Beamer 6 FX, Beamer 8 Swarm Wash FX, and Kinta FX Beamer 6 is a multiple effect light that includes adjustable RGBW beams, a round SMD strobe, and a red-green pattern laser. Oh, it's a laser in the center.
Okay.
Thousands of razor-sharp laser beams.
So it's an RGB white, red, green, blue, white. So that's color mixing you're seeing on that lens. So that's actually really, if it'll be interesting to see how that mixes. If it mixes before the lens and then the lens is giving us a nice solid color, or if we're going to have a little bit of splotchy coloring with that.
The Beamer 8 is a 2-in-1 light featuring 8 independently adjustable LEDs that deliver bright RGB beams and a punchy strobe that creates exciting chase and slow motion effect. They're also coming out with I know they had the Scorpion laser last year, right?
Yep.
They are coming out with the Scorpion laser bar.
Ooh, interesting.
So it's the place where you can go get drinks. And
exactly.
That actually could be a cool name for a bar.
That would be Scorpion
Laser Bar. Some freaking lasers.
And our favorite house drink is the episode. No, I can't say it. Ellipsoidal.
Ellipsoidal, yeah.
Would you like an ellipsoidal with?
Let me see if that link here takes you to the page. Because they're showing everything on the press release exactly the same as it was on the page. Like literally, they had copied and pasted the two.
And they didn't have any map pricing on that, did they? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that map pricing stuff will be. Some of it they won't even know next week because it might be some of the stuff that's very very new and they aren't even sure yet. But that's one of the things that next week with the show we'll get that. So again, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, you want to make sure you hit that because starting, Wednesday actually of next week, we're going to be going to ADJ. This is before NAMM. We're getting a private tour of the ADJ new products. So that's going to hit next Wednesday night. We're going to be just blitzing you guys with all the new information from ADJ. Then Thursday, we're going to start out in the InMusic booth. We're going to hear that. We're going to work over to Chauvet and work our way around the room. It's going to be a busy day Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from NAMM.
Question about the Denon one. I know the thing they sent out that they're setting up individual things in a room where you can go take a look at the Denon. Does that mean that it's not going to be on the show floor, or does that just mean they're giving press a hands-on first thing?
There's a couple of different things at NAMM that they will do. They've got their show floor, and then they have a press area that's there for Wednesday where they'll bring a product or two to spotlight. And what it basically becomes is this one little area with tabletop displays. They set up a table, they'll put a mixer on it, and then people can come in there and wiki and try to do something with it. That could be the possibility. And some of the companies now have their room downstairs, their booth, and then they'll have like a private room upstairs or somewhere where they will have a sound system set up so you can go and make more noise than you can on the show floor.
And hear it more clearly too. Yeah. That's the two sound EV and QSC did at the expo. And that's really with as crazy and loud as that gets in the expo showroom floors. That's the only way you can hear actually. Anything else? Because I have one last product that.
Okay, let's hit the one last product, and then we're going to wrap it up because we've if we're not talking sales tonight, we've done well.
This one is out, so you can go find it out there. But Alltech Lansing
Okay.
has put out a DJ headphone, and they are labeling it DJ headphone. Okay, so I'm not making this up. They're making it, and they're advertising DJ. They're labeling it. That has a built-in 1080p 30 frame per second video camera for live streaming while you're DJing. No joke.
I guess this one I missed this one. I did not see this.
CES was one of the CES ones. I did a picture of it. It just looks like a kind of a headphone with a couple little dots on it that you can, but it's $200. They call it a DVR DJ style headphone with built-in 1080p 30 frame per second video camera for live streaming. So if you're like me, this is to me. Okay, I'm a person who dances around when I DJ, so
Yeah.
that's not going to be a good view for people to have. But that's all the stuff that's out there. Like I said, if you keep an eye on the Rewind Reports Facebook page, this stuff comes up daily. I mean, I have no social life, so it comes up quickly.
We'll have to put the links of that down in the description below. We changed all the description and such. Sunday night, we're going to be coming back with Mitch. Hopefully everything will work out for Sunday night, and we'll send emails out on that. But this became a great pre-NAMM show for us tonight.
I was hoping I would get to talk more about this because aside from the people who are emailing me, and like I said, I've got messages right now that are coming in while we're doing this, asking me questions. It's nice to be able just to talk out loud about it and compare with other people. You're like me, you may not buy DJ equipment that often, but it sure is nice to go and see it.
It's fun. It's fun to go look at it and think about it, and then 6 months later say, "Wow, I'm glad I didn't buy that," or "Wow, I should have bought that."
That's why I'm holding out, because the other friend of mine today was talking about that the Denon one, and I was telling him I'm holding out because I know one of the companies is going to make a smaller NS7 style controller with motorized platters, but not as big. I know somebody has to be doing this, and that's what I'm waiting for. So
yeah,
I'm waiting.
Cool. Well, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you for hanging with us tonight. If you were here to catch Mitch is under the weather. He'll be back Sunday night. We're going to shoot for that. We'll send, again, emails out for that. MJ, thanks for jumping in. Thanks for sharing an incredible walkthrough. I mean, Denon should put you on the payroll, man. You went through that board better than probably some of their product reps will do from NAMM next week.
I dig, and if you look back here in a thing, Denon did a thing a few years ago that they let people become certified, and all that means is that you know about Denon products. So that if Denon did a sort of, if there was a DJ Expo in my city, I would be one of the people that could go talk about it. But since there's never any here, I don't get to do that. But I do like their products. But like you said, for those of you who don't know, In Music owns them, Newmark, Akai, Audio, and a whole bunch of others. So they're all kind of under the roof, and you're going to see a lot of mixing and mashing. So it's kind of neat. It's neat to see this going on.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And we'll be back, let's see, next week with NAMM. We're going to see what we can put together. And MJ, I'm going to try to get you some video clips so you guys can have some fun with that. And who knows, maybe we'll have be able to get a stream and do something live from Anaheim. That'd be kind of cool.
Are you going to be home by then?
Oh, I think we're going to try to see if we can do something from Anaheim. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Okay. Cool.
We'll see what we can do. But guys, just keep an eye out. Watch our Facebook page. Watch the Rewind Report, the Disc Jockey News, any of those, because we'll put that information up there. So once again, gang, thank you very much for watching. We will catch you tomorrow night with Ron Ruth, actually, for those of you who are the wedding DJs. Mitch will be Sunday, and then next, oh goodness, we're just into NAMM already. So good night, everyone.